At 2:11, the radar sees 23 incoming targets. They are already descending, ballistic trajectories entering their terminal phase. The system has been tracking them for 6 minutes. 22 of them will be intercepted. One will not. At this range, the difference does not matter. Not yet. Inside the Combat Information Center, operators are not focused on a single missile, but on a pattern, speed, altitude, vector separation. The system processes everything at once, feeding firing solutions into intercept queues faster than any human could follow. This is what it was built for, a saturation attack. Iran has launched ballistic missiles at U.S. positions before. The doctrine is familiar. Overwhelm defenses, force difficult choices, and let probability decide the outcome. But this time, something is different. At 2:12, the first interceptors launch. 2 missiles rise from their cells in perfect sequence, angling into the night sky on clean, calculated trajectories. Targets are assigned automatically. Impact points are predicted. Intercepts are calculated. The first 2 threats disappear. No explosion is visible from the ground. Only confirmation on the screen that the targets are gone. At 2:13, for more interceptors launch. Then 6, then 8. The sky above the base becomes a layered grid of intersecting paths, where defense meets offense at precise points miles above the earth. This is not chaos, it is mathematics. And for 6 minutes, the mathematics is winning. By 2:14, 17 of the 23 incoming missiles are gone. By 2:15, 21 are gone. Then, at 2:15 and 32 seconds, the system flags something it does not understand. One track remains, still inbound, still fast, but no longer behaving like the others. The system updates its solution, then updates it again. The predicted impact point shifts, first by 40 meters, then 120, then 300. That should not happen. Ballistic missiles do not behave like this in their terminal phase. Not at this speed, not with this consistency. Lieutenant Aaron Hale is watching the track when the system marks it as unstable. He doesn't speak at first. He just watches. At 2:16, the system assigns 2 interceptors to the target. They launch on a clean solution. For a moment, everything looks normal. Then the track shifts again. Not dramatically, not enough to trigger alarms, just enough. At this speed, just enough is everything. The interceptors reach their predicted point and find nothing. They detonate exactly where the missile was supposed to be. The missile is no longer there. At 2:16 and 41 seconds, the system recalculates. A second intercept solution is generated. More aggressive, tighter geometry, higher probability. The interceptors launch. Hale leans closer to the display. The track stabilizes for 2 seconds, holding perfectly. Then it moves again, a small correction, less than 2 degrees. But at Mach 10, 2 degrees is the difference between success and empty air. The interceptors arrive. They detonate. The sky remains empty. 2 failures. The system does not hesitate. It generates a third solution immediately. This one is different. Head-on geometry, minimal correction window, the closest thing to certainty the system can produce. At 2:17, the third pair of interceptors launch. Inside the control room, no one speaks. They have seen difficult targets before, ones that required multiple attempts, but never like this. The interceptors close the distance. 5 seconds. 4, 3. The incoming missile holds its course. 2 seconds. 1. At the last possible moment, the track shifts again. Not randomly, precisely. The interceptors detonate 900 meters from a missile's actual position. 3 attempts. 3 failures. At 2:17 and 28 seconds, the system does something it has never done before. It lowers the intercept probability below 20%. The number appears on the screen in red. Hale stares at it. He has never seen it that low. The system is telling them something without saying it directly. This target cannot be reliably intercepted. At 2:18, the base commander orders final defense activation. The close-in systems come online. The last layer of protection, the shortest range, the smallest window, and the highest rate of fire. It is also the least effective against something moving this fast. The engagement window is less than 1 second. At Mach 10, the missile will cross the defensive envelope almost instantly. The system tracks it anyway. It fires. Thousands of rounds per minute converge on a single predicted point in space. The rounds arrive exactly where they are supposed to be. The missile does not. It passes through the burst untouched. At 2:18 and 19 seconds, there are no more interceptors assigned. No more systems left to engage. The track continues descending, now less than 40 seconds from impact. Inside the room, everything changes. The noise disappears. No one speaks, not because they are waiting, but because there is nothing left to say. The system continues updating the track. Speed unchanged, vector stable, impact point inside the base perimeter. Hale looks at the data again. Then again, something is wrong. Not with the missile, but with the information. At 2:18 and 32 seconds, he sees it. A signal. Narrowband. Encrypted. Short bursts every 12 seconds. He rewinds the data. The signal was there earlier. He just wasn't looking for it. No one was. Because no one expected the missile to be receiving updates at this stage of flight. Unless it isn't purely ballistic anymore. Hale's eyes return to the track. The corrections are not random. They are responses. The missile isn't guessing where the base is. It's being told in real time. At 2:18 and 40 seconds, the base commander gives the order. All personnel brace for impact. Hale does not move. He is already typing. He isolates the frequency, filters the noise, locks onto the signal pattern. Every 12 seconds, 3-second bursts. Encrypted, but consistent. Predictable. That is enough. At 2:18 and 47 seconds, the missile receives another update. Its course shifts slightly, exactly as expected. Hale does not look up. He is not a weapons officer. He cannot launch interceptors. He cannot stop the missile, but he can talk to it or make it think he is. At 2:19, he builds the transmission. It does not need to be perfect. It needs to be believable, correct format, correct timing, correct structure. The content can be wrong. At 2:19 and 6 seconds, the next transmission window opens. Hale sends one burst, 3 seconds, one message. The base's position shifted 600 meters to the east. Nothing else. The missile receives it. At 2:19 and 9 seconds, the track changes immediately. A hard correction, the largest it has made so far. Inside the control room, heads turn. The predicted impact point moves out of the central compound and toward the outer perimeter. Hale keeps watching. The missile is still inbound, still fast, still lethal, but no longer aimed where it was. At 2:19 and 21 seconds, the next transmission window opens. Hale sends again, another false position, further out. The missile corrects again. At Mach 10, every adjustment compounds. At 2:19 and 33 seconds, the track is now outside the base entirely, but still too close. Hale waits for one more window. At 2:19 and 45 seconds, he sends the final burst. This time, the position is 1,200 meters away, open ground, nothing critical. The missile responds instantly with its final correction. At 2:20 and 2 seconds, the track stabilizes, locked onto its new target. At 2:20 and 11 seconds, the missile impacts, not inside the base, not on the runway, not on the command center, but in open ground 1.1 kilometers east of the perimeter. The explosion is massive. The shockwave arrives seconds later. Windows crack. Equipment rattles. Dust fills the air, but nothing essential is hit. Inside the control room, no one speaks for 5 seconds. Then someone finally asks what happened. Hale leans back slightly, still watching the screen. "I moved it," he says. No one responds immediately because they all understand what that means. At 2:21, the signal disappears. No more updates. No more corrections. Just silence. Within minutes, the frequency is shared across every unit in the region. Jamming begins. Spoofing protocols are deployed. Every similar missile in the air loses its guidance. Some fall short. Some drift off course. None hit their intended targets. What began as a saturation attack ends as a failure. Not because the defense is held, but because one assumption was broken, that the missile knew where its target was. It didn't. It was being told. And for 34 seconds, someone else did the telling. Later, the official report will reduce it to a single line. Target displaced via signal deception. But inside that room, at 2:19, it was something else entirely. It was the moment the problem changed. Not solved, just changed. And that was enough.